Hello and welcome to Vlogging About Comics episode 1, and some of you may recognise me from my review videos where I've started this vlog. I did come up with better names than Vlogging About Comics, but I really wanted comics in the title and I really wanted vlog, and all the other ideas I came up with either didn't have comics in the title, or it was a bit of it made the title sound strange adding the word vlog in there. So in the end I decided on this title. My schedule for these, I'm going to try and release one every month. Basically it's going to be down to, I'll have a subject and I'll do a short video talking about that subject. So it depends if I have anything to talk on, how soon I record another one. Today I'm looking at my pull list, and like many of you, I have a budget for my comics, and there's a lot of new titles coming out over the next few months. What with the Marvel Now initiative, we've got the fourth wave of New 52 titles, and as always Image and Dark Horse releasing new titles. There's a lot of books I want to try out, but because I've got that budget, if I try out a new book or I pick up a new book regularly, I have to drop some books. So today I'm just going to look at some of the books from my pull list that I may be dropping. I haven't made a definite decision on many of these yet, but they're books that I'm kind of looking at and thinking, yeah, I could do without this book, so I can pick up another book that I want. So we start off with Aquaman, put together by the creative team of Jeff Johns and Ivan Reis. I've been picking this book up since issue 1. I've really been enjoying it. It's been a good story. I like John's writing and the secondary characters he's created as well. Also the history between Aquaman and Black Manta, I really have enjoyed that. Ivan Reis's art has just been magnificent, and you know, I've been enjoying it. On the downside though, the other storyline, which was the last arc that they did, that went on a bit too long, and then the ending felt a bit rushed. You know, we were building up to it for so long and it just seemed to be over really quickly. So yeah, so that was something that wasn't good. Jeff Johns is writing a lot of books at the moment. You know, you've got Justice League America, that's coming out in January. He does Green Lantern. He does the graphic novel Batman Earth 1, sorry. He also will probably be heavily involved in DC's big event next year, the Infinity War. So he's got a lot going on, and you know, is that going to affect the quality of the writing on this book? Also, you've got like the whole thing with Ivan Reis, who's been brilliant on art, but he's now moving to Justice League, so he will no longer be drawing this book. And they're just all adding up. And the other thing that really tips my hat is the next issue, we're sort of starting off a new story. We're starting this whole Throne of Atlantis story, which they kind of look at as a good jumping on point, which seems to be the big thing these days. But the thing that they forget about a good jumping on point, it's also a good jumping off point, because you've finished off the story you was reading. So very much now that the other storyline's been resolved, I'm kind of looking at this one now thinking maybe this is the perfect point for me to jump off. So yeah, that's one book I'm considering. My next book I'm considering dropping is Justice League. I really didn't enjoy last week's issue that much. When it first came out, I loved it. I've been a fan of comics since the 80s. So when I started buying, Marvel was the main book company I bought from. And you look at their titles, and they've been running since the 60s. So many of the first meetings had happened. DC, you had to go back even further. They're sort of like the 50s when they relaunched their previous universe. So again, a lot of the first meetings had happened. So it was really cool when this came out, and we got to see people like Batman and Green Lantern meeting for the first time, and their first encounter with Superman, and all these heroes sort of coming together. And I really liked that first arc with Darkseid, or Darkseid, however you pronounce his name. But then we jumped to the modern day, and I thought the story took a drop down in quality. I really enjoyed the issue Green Arrow. I thought that was a great issue. We then had like the villain's journey, which I liked as well, but the end did feel a bit, you know, well, it's alright. I did like that they had lasting consequences, like Green Lantern quitting the team. You know, I did enjoy that. I thought that was good. But then the last two issues have really been filler. You know, they really beat Cheetah up really big, and then she's really beaten easy in this issue. The Shazam backup seems to be going nowhere. I thought when he became Shazam the story would get moving, but it's not. We're still moving along at a snail's pace. So like that don't seem to be going anywhere. And the other thing where I'm looking at dropping it is that I'm picking up Justice League America, definitely in I think it's January or February it comes out. And that's one book I'm definitely picking up. It's got Green Arrow in, it's got Martian Manhunter in, two of my favourite characters. It's also got Simon Baz, the Green Lantern, in it, who I really like his Green Lantern. It's also got Hawkman, who's a character that I've always been curious about. So there's a lot of characters in there that I like. So I'm definitely picking up Justice League America. There's no way I'm dropping Justice League Dark. So then I've got to sit back and think, well, do I really need to pick up 3 Justice League titles? And if the answer is no, then this is the likely one that will be dropped. Also, the other thing that makes me think about dropping it is we've got Throne of Atlantis, which starts the end of this month. And it's carrying on through this and Aquaman. And it's like, well, if I'm dropping Aquaman, I'm going to be missing some of the stories, so I may as well drop this as well. So that's another one I'm looking at dropping. Next up, we have Demon Knights, which is another book I've enjoyed, but the creative team is changing. Paul Canal seems to be leaving DC. He's going to work. They've announced he's working on the Wolverine book for Marvel. So, you know, he's written this book since issue 1, and I'm like, do I really want to pick it up with a different writer? The thing as well is I've enjoyed the book, but it's not top of my list. So if I'm looking to get more titles, there's titles I want to pick up and read more than this. So, and once again, you know, with the writer finishing, it provides a good jumping on point for new readers. But for readers that are like kind of in the middle, it's a good jumping off point. So Demon Knights is another one I'm looking at. Next up we have Iron Man. I've picked up the first 2 issues, and I've enjoyed them less and less. The first issue was okay. I like the setup. The second issue, the more I read it, the more I think about it, the less I like it. Kieran Gillen's a very talented writer. I like his stuff. But, you know, I think he can do better than this, and I'm hoping issue 3 will pick up. Issue 3 is going to be the make or break one for me. I was going to stick with it for the first arc, but after issue 2, no. I'm going to buy one more issue. Greg Land, I love his art when Tony is in his armour, but when you've got any human faces, Greg Land just can't draw expressions. They look really unnatural, and the more I read the book, the more it starts to bug me. At first issue, I wasn't that bothered by it, but by the time we get to the second issue, it really affects the story and the story the writer's trying to tell, because you can't get any expression. So if you can't get no expression, how are you going to get emotion into the story? So it's a problem. The thing that keeping me on this book is I really want to read an Iron Man book. You know, I've been an Iron Man fan since I was a kid, and that's probably the popular thing to say these days, but I was, and I really want to read an Iron Man book again, and I've never had an Iron Man run all the way through, so I'd love to pick up this run all the way through. But if it continues at the quality that issue 2 was, this would definitely be dropped. So issue 3 next week is going to be the big issue for me, on whether I keep or drop this title. Next up we have Stormwatch, which I've only recently started picking this book up again. I think it was issue 13 I picked up. Issue 13 and 14, and I've enjoyed it. I really have. I love what they're doing with the relationship between Apollo and Midnighter, that it's been torn in this direction. I really like, you know, the story's intriguing. You've got stuff happening that, you know, I would like to see how it plays out. The reason that it's one of the books I'm considering dropping is I've only just picked it up, so I haven't got too deep an emotional attachment to it yet. I haven't got too deep into the story, so it's one that I could drop, and, you know, I'd be curious about, but I wouldn't miss too much because I've only just started getting back into it. But I am really enjoying it, so this is one that I'm kind of looking maybe to keep, but it's a possibility if I do need to drop one that I would look at this. Next up we have Wolverine Max. The first issue was alright. It didn't blow me away. It set up an intriguing story. The problem at the moment is we've seen so many, this story, the Wolverine origin story, told so many times in so many different ways that, you know, it's very difficult to sort of get excited about seeing that again. Plus we've got, you know, coming out in March now, we know Paul Cornell's going to be writing Wolverine with art by Alan Davis, and that's a book I'm really looking forward to and a team I'm really curious about. So I don't really want to be picking up like 2 or 3 Wolverine titles, because I'm already getting Uncanny Avengers, which has Wolverine in it. I think the regular Avengers title looks like that's going to have Wolverine in it as well. So I'm already getting quite a few books that I've got Wolverine in. So this may be a casualty as I make way so I can get that one in March. So yeah, Wolverine Max, one I'm looking to drop. And next up we have the Batman The Dark Knight. And I've enjoyed this. I like Greg Hurwitz's work. I really like how scary and creepy he's made the Scarecrow, but at the same time he's added some depth to the character as well. The art by David Finch I've always enjoyed. So, but like the whole thing with this book is, do I need to be picking up 2 Batman titles? There are about 7 a month out, but I try and pick up one $3.99 one and one $2.99 one. Well, $3.99, there's no way I'm dropping the Scott Snyder Batman. That book's on my list for as long as he writes it. I'm getting it. But then at the $2.99 books, I think there's this one and there's Batman and Robin, which I dropped Batman and Robin to get this instead. And when Greg Hurwitz took over, and I've enjoyed Hurwitz's run on the book. I felt Batman and Robin had a good strong first story, but it seems to me now they seem to be running out of ideas or trying to cram too much in. With this book I've really enjoyed. My only gripes about it is David Finch is moving. He's going to do Justice League America, but then Ethan Van Sciver is taking over, and he's also one of my favourite artists. So that's like, again, another reason to keep the book. You know, but then this current story has gone on a bit too long. I thought it would be wrapping up with the next issue, which comes out tomorrow, but no, it's going on for another month, and they do seem to be dragging it out a bit. And it sort of makes you worry, you know, when stories are dragged out, does that mean they haven't got quite enough ideas? I don't know. But basically it's just from a point of view of, do I need to pick up 2 Batman titles, or is one sufficient, especially when it's Snyder's Batman and it's so good. But I am enjoying this, so it remains a possibility. And finally, the last book I'm considering dropping is Bedlam. I loved this first issue. It was brilliant, and it was a bargain of a book as well. Image, probably the best value in comics right now, off on Image. The whole reason why it's on my list of books I'm considering dropping is the character in this book, Madder Red, is very much based on the Joker. And at any other time, seeing this story, and the guy is completely a psychopath, you know, he has no problem killing, you know, children or women or men, it doesn't matter, he'll kill anyone, and he's a psychopath. And it's, you know, this book is basically about now while he's trying to be a good guy. He's the same person, but he's directing all that psychoticness at bad guys rather than considering at innocent people. So, while it's an interesting book, because the character very much is based on the Joker, and Scott Snyder's writing the greatest Joker ever, he's made that character genuinely scary and creepy. And I've never been so scared of a super villain before. You know, I've read villains in the past that I've liked or disliked or thought were cool. I hated and wanted to see their comeuppance. But I've never come up against a villain where I'm genuinely terrified of this guy, and reading the book I'm terrified of the guy. And because Snyder's doing such a fantastic job, it kind of makes you, well, do I want to pick up this book which just has really another version of the Joker in it? And that's the thing. Issue 2 comes out this week, and a lot will depend on the direction issue 2 takes and how it goes. But this is, again, a book that I'm considering dropping, Bedlam. So there's the books. If you watch my comic book review videos over the next weeks, you will see which books I drop and which ones stay on my list and which new books I pick up. Thanks for watching this video, and please, if you've got any comments, whether you disagree with what I've said today, or the books that, or if you've got books yourself that you're looking at dropping, please in the comments below share those. I'd love to hear which books you're all thinking about dropping, or which books you think I should drop. You know, I enjoy any kind of feedback, and thanks for watching, and bye for now.